first part is about the introduction to fluid mechanics. So in this introduction we first see what is the meaning of word fluid. Now as you know, in our universe we have different matters. So those matters we are classified as solids, liquids and gases. Now the combination of both liquid as well as gases we call as fluid. Now this classification is based on different parameters. The first parameter on which this classification is based is number one, molecular spacing. Now you can say in gases, the distance between the molecule is very large as compared to the liquids, and further in both gases as well as in liquid, the molecular spacing is more than the solids. So you can say in solids, the molecular spacing is very much less as compared to liquid and gas, and in liquid, the molecular spacing is less as compared to the gases. Now, if we talk about the molecular bonds, now you can say the bond is stronger in solids as compared to the liquid and gas. Now, further, the molecular bonding is much stronger in liquid as compared to the gases. So, in simple words, you can say that the bonds in gases are weak, however, the bonds in solids are strong. In liquid, it is in intermediate state. The second classification is based on the volume and shape. Now you can say that the solids have both volume as well as shape. Liquid has only volume and no shape. Then in gases, we have no volume and no shape. So that is the another classification of matters we have in our universe. Now the third point on which this classification is based, that is on the basis of shear deformation. Now you can say that, say we have a solid. This is a solid body. Now if we apply a tangential force on this body, say this force, the magnitude of this force is up to the elastic limit. Now what happened? This body deforms, changes its shape, something like this. And when we remove this force, the body comes to its original position again. This is what happens in solids. But in case of liquids as well as in gases that we call as fluids, say we have this liquid or a fluid, if we apply a tangential force on it, what will happen? This liquid or gas, or we call as a fluid, starts flowing immediately, means starts deforming as soon as we apply the tangential force. Okay, so now you can say that tangential force to solids within the elastic limit, you can see the body regains its original position, whereas for fluids you apply the tangential force and the fluid got a new position immediately. So there is no tendency to restore the original position or shape of the fluid. So on the basis of this tangential force application, we classify the solids as well as the fluids. Now there is one more term, we call it as fluidity. The meaning of this term is the tendency of continuous deformation of a fluid, that we call as fluidity. Okay. Now this is how you classify the different matters, how we say the particular matters are in the category of a fluid. Now next term, now we are going to define as the fluid mechanics. Now the fluid mechanics, this term, this is the study of something. So we divide fluid mechanics definition into two lines, or into you can say 2 points. The first point says, so you can say, fluid mechanics is the study of number one is the physical behavior of fluids and fluid systems. Okay, and the laws governing this behavior. So that is the first point. Okay, so according to first point, fluid mechanics is the study of physical behavior of fluids and the laws which governing that behavior. The second point is the study of action of forces on fluid and of the resulting flow pattern. Okay, so the combination of these two lines is comes under the definition of fluid mechanics. So in simple words, now you can say that fluid mechanics is the study of physical behavior of fluids and the laws governing that behavior. Then the study of different action of forces on fluids, or you can say how fluid behaves when different forces are acting on that particular fluid or a fluid pattern. So in this manner, you can define the fluid mechanics. Now this fluid mechanics has three branches. First we call as statics, second one is kinematics, and third one is dynamics. So statics means the study of fluid which is at rest. This is the study of fluid which is at rest that we call as statics. Kinematics means the study of fluid which is in translation, rotation, or deformation. Or you can say the study of fluid which is under motion that we call as kinematics. Okay. Now, under this motion, you can say there is no application of external forces. So then only we can call it as the study of kinematics. That part of fluid mechanics is the kinematics. If this motion is due to the application of external forces, so that study of fluid mechanics we call as dynamics. That we call as dynamics. Okay. So under this dynamics, we study the acceleration, we study the velocity with the effect of this external force. Okay. So that is the dynamics. Now, if this complete study of fluid mechanics is for water, so that term we call as hydraulics. If water is the fluid only, we call this fluid mechanics term as hydraulics. Now this hydraulics has three parts. One we call as hydrostatic, hydrokinematic, and hydrodynamics. Okay, this is the study of water only. Okay, then we have one more term that we call as continuum. Now the continuum is, we can call it as the continuous and homogeneous fluid medium. Okay, so the continuum we can call as a continuous and homogeneous fluid medium. Now the meaning of this continuous and homogeneous term is that the part of fluid which is under consideration, that is free from all voids or cavities, that may be microscopic or macroscopic. So those voids or cavities within the fluid, that we will ignored. That we will ignore. That is the meaning of term continuous and homogeneous. Okay, so if I repeat this term continuum, so you can say continuum is a fluid system which is continuous and homogeneous. Now, the meaning of term continuous and homogeneous means that fluid medium is free from any void or cavity. Okay, so that is the meaning of term continuum. Then next, we talk about the different types of fluids we have.